Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, friends.
Good evening, friends.
I welcome you
I
all
welcome you all
to this evening
to this
seminar,
evening seminar,
which is the sixth
which is the
seminar
sixth seminar
of LBF.
of LBF.
The topic for
The
today
topic
is
for today is
building a
building a
resilient mindset.
resilient mindset.
Rupin, echo is there.
Rupin, echo is there.
In the echo is still there.
Echo is still there.
Should we continue?
Should we continue?
Rupin, his voice is clear. His voice is clear.
Go on, sir.
I think I'll continue.
Yes, sir.
The award-winning speaker, TEDx speaker, is none other than our own lion, CG Verghese. It's really great to hear her today and have her with us today. So I request Ketan to take over and introduce this eminent speaker, award-winning speaker, none other than Lion CG Verghese.
Ketan, unmute, please. Ketan. Thank you very much, Lion Birendra Katyal ji. Let me start with a quote. A real leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Today, it's a great honor and exhilarating moment for me to bring before you a vivacious and versatile personality, Miss CG. Words fall short when it comes to recount the virtues of this dynamic lady, Miss CG. Is an IBCT certified trainer, an ICF certified associate coach, and is certified in the ROI methodology from the ROI Institute, USA, and hold the prestigious post of the director of this esteemed institute. Her hands of experience is in the real corporate world makes her session immeasurable and exceptional. With great pride, I further state that Ms. CG is also a powerful facilitator and a TEDx speaker. To add feathers to her cap, she was recently awarded the Karamveer Chakra Award for her daunting task in catering to the needs of women in distress. Ms. CG is a born leader and a natural orator, has spoken on various prestigious platforms like IIM Ahmedabad and the Kala Ghoda Arts Festival. Such innate talent cannot be confined to a limited space. Her milestone cross borders and continents. She had her benchmark by successful conducting workshops on leadership in the Southeast Asian countries and Sri Lanka. Ms. CG, a woman par excellence, has recently been nominated for the Economic Time Awards for Emerging Leader in Women category on 13 March 2020. Friends, what makes Ms. CG that makes her so special in her ability to connect with people, to relate with a commoner. And now it's the time to put the icing on the cake. I am ecstatic to announce Ms. CG, a woman larger than life, whose enduring personality has won people around her. She is the official Lions certified trainer, and the certification remains valid till June 30th, 2023. So put your hands together for one and only Miss CG. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ketan sir and everyone here. Good evening and welcome to every line friend of mine. It's really a privilege and prestige to be amongst each one of you in this August gathering. I'm really looking forward to this particular session today and the time's going to be spent with you. I'm going to be speaking on how to develop a resilient mindset. So we're going to learn a little bit about or understand a little bit about what the tools or techniques we have so that we can get better with this particular skill. So I start with a nice little story. So let me just go and share the screen with you. So you've always heard, the Japanese, they've always loved fresh fish, but the waters close to Japan. Okay, let's share the screen here. The screen is just gone out. Just a moment, I'll just get this right for you guys. So here, I'll just get this screen, one sec. Okay, so as you know, this is a very beautiful story, and this is a story that you would have heard sometimes, or maybe this is a new story for you as well. So the Japanese, they always loved having fresh fish. But the waters which were close to Japan have not held many fish for decades. So as to feed the Japanese population, the fishing boats started getting bigger and they went farther than ever. And the further the fishermen went, the longer it took for them to bring the fish back. Now, if the fish took more than a few days to return back to the shore, the fish was not so fresh. And the Japanese did not like the taste of the fish because they're so used to the fresh fish. For them, anything which is a little stale does not really appeal to their senses. Now, to solve this problem, the fishing companies started installing freezers in their boats. And they would catch all the fish when they go further from the land and freeze them at the sea. So freezers allow the boats to go further out and stay longer at sea. However, the Japanese could still taste the difference between fresh and frozen fish, and they did not like the frozen fish. So the frozen fish used to be brought at a lower price. So fishing companies started installing fish tanks. They would catch the fish and stuff them tightly in the tanks. So after a little thrashing around, the fish would get tired and it stopped moving. They were tired and dull, but they were still alive. However, the Japanese could still taste the difference. Now, because the fish did not move for days, they lost their fresh fish taste. So the Japanese preferred the lively taste of the fresh fish. So how did they go solve this problem? How did they start getting fresh tasting fish to the people of Japan? Now, this is a very beautiful question to think about कि उन लोग ने जुगाड़ क्या किया ताकि वो fresh fish आए. Now, what comes out of this all, the entire solution, it's a very beautiful learning that we all can have for our day-to-day lives. Now, to keep the fish tasting fresh, the fishing companies internet connection gone, yeah.
Go on, CG, you are live.
Yeah, to keep the fish tasting fresh, the fishing companies continued to put the fish in the tanks. But now they added a small shark to each tank. Now that's the best thing. They added a small shark in the fish tank. And the fish, in an attempt to run away from the shark, they stayed constantly alert and hence they were fresh. So the shark may eat a few fish, but most of the fish arrived in a very lively state. So which means finally the Japanese had a way out as to how they could eat fresh fish, even though the fish was brought from far. Now my question to you guys, just to remember or to reflect on this point, is what lessons can we learn from this story? So what comes in your mind? What reflection points comes in your mind when we are thinking about how or what is that we could understand from this particular story? If anyone, I would just quickly toggle in the chat box, or if anyone could say.
No questions. No questions.
No question. So what lessons can we learn from this story? So like the Japanese fish, man thrives oddly enough only in the presence of a challenging environment, which means now today, because of the disruptions that is caused due to COVID, this is one instance to show us that a man adapts, a man is able to bounce back. Or now, for example, we never thought we would train in this format, right? I am a speaker, I am a facilitator and an instructor. I'm so used to having people in my room. Now, I wouldn't have ever thought that there would come a space in my life when I would be sitting in front of my laptop, just looking at the screen and not able to see anyone at all. Now, this is a high level disruption for me. This is a mental disruption. This is a emotional disruption. This is a physical disruption for me. Because for me to tide with this or come in terms with this new thing gets a little bit taxing, because this is not what it was before the COVID. So the new normal, so we are looking at something which is called as beyond the new normal, and there is an era of growth. We all are knowing that. The question here is, are we ready for it? And this story exactly shows us that if there is no kinds of challenges, if there is no kinds of disruptions, man tends to live in a very comfort zone. And they very rightly say that it's a very beautiful place to live in a comfort zone. But trust me, no miracle ever happened in a comfort zone. If you want to see miracle happening, you have to move outside the comfort zone in the effort zone. तो जब तक हम एफर्ट जोन में नहीं जाते हैं तब तक हम लोग का कुछ भी मिरेकल नहीं दिखता. We cannot see a new aspect of ourselves, how much we push ourselves. So challenges are what keep us fresh. So instead of avoiding challenges, welcome them and jump into them. And that sets the tone for today's session. So why and what are we here? Because there are challenging times and we are really thinking, how do we come out of this challenging times more triumphant? They very rightly say that in the maximum of adversities, man really finds a beautiful path ahead. They are able to create innovations, inventions, jugaad. You know, we do so much of jugaad only when you're pressed to do the jugaad, right? So if you would see a time before COVID, you might have achieved goals and you would have set new and bigger goals for the year 2020. And as they very rightly, all the memes going around says, you know, please remove out the year 2020. I haven't done anything in this year. So once what happens is, like, once you've met most of your personal and your family needs, you move on to the goals for your neighborhood, the community, the society, and even mankind. And that's exactly the reason why we are all in Lions, because we have met a lot of our personal and family needs. So it's like, don't create success and just lie in it. We always have something to create new and bigger success. Now, when I say this, at the core of every human being is restlessness, right? We finish something and we want the next thing to come because that makes us feel nice about ourselves. And that's exactly how we have progressed over the period of time. So even if there is a COVID coming, even if there is a natural disaster happening, how fast are we able to rise and rise out of the setback and come triumphant over it? Unfortunately, India has been rated at rank number 119 out of 130 for several parameters of being a resilient country. So we have a long way to go, and India is constituting about the people in the country. So how fast? Now, the only important issue to remember here is that 1/3 of our population is still below poverty. So our indices do get changed. So now, however, we have decided that we will be good enough or useful for the society at large. So we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of skills, and we have a lot of abilities to make a difference. And that's exactly why the story says very vividly that put a shark in your tank and see how far you can really go. So we don't need a shark right now. We got a shark in the form of COVID, and this COVID is actually taking out real good things out from a lot of us. We have started going back, upskilling ourselves. We've started learning new skills. We've started, sharpening our old skills. There's a lot that we have been doing, and I think COVID is the right time. So here we come, learning about how do we build a resilient mindset. Now, what's a mindset? Mindset is कि कोई भी चीज पे हमारा माइंड कंडीशन किया हुआ है उस तरीके से, राइट? हम लोग एक तरीके से चल रहा था, कंफर्ट जोन आ गया था, सब कुछ मस्त चल रहा था, सडनली धूम धक there is a economy burst, or there is a emotional burst, there is a physical burst. There's so many things happening across, and कितना जल्दी हम लोग उसको adapt कर सकता है, that decides कि हम कितने resilient हैं. So I'm going to be taking you through this nice little session, and I'm going to be covering 4 parts to it. I'm going to give you a little gist about how the world economy is right now. I'm going to give you a gist about the Indian economy, and I'm going to tell you what is the new normal that is coming for the year 2020-2021, and also how do we go about being more resilient and adaptable. So I'm not going to be speaking too much of the world economy. I'm going to just show you some beautiful pictorial visual graphs for you to understand. Okay. So if you see the world economy, look at probably the India, China, US, Eurozone, every zone, if you see, the global economy is on a grinding halt. And if you and as you all know, oil prices are near zero. So if you see, it's the blue color toward the brown color, we have been dipping, and you can see US going even in a negative zone, right? So the blue is before Corona, that's BC. And the brown is after Corona, that's the AC. So you can clearly see how the economy is moving on. We're still safe, we are not in a negative zone, but before Corona and after Corona, there has been a break. There has been a fall, and the fall is quite sharp, and we do not know how far the fall is going to be. If you see across, you will find that the money has started getting cheaper. Again, the blue stands here for before Corona, and A stands for after Corona. So you can see again, maybe it's India, China, Malaysia, US, or Australia. If you see all of these countries, all of these economies, the money is also falling down. It's getting more cheaper. Similarly, if you look at the global indices, I've just taken a 52-week change percentage. So if you see, there is every country, maybe it's India, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, and China, you will find everything going in a negative space. So there is a lot of things that's moving on in the global economy. So this was just to give you a pictorial representation that how it is and how India is vis-a-vis the many other economies. We are really much better because the people out here are amazing, I guess. So looking into Indian economy, we've had a lot of shocks in our lives. If I have to go a little back, we had this pre-liberalization era, and then we had the dot-com bubble, which happened in the year 99-2000. Then we had the 9/11, the Iraq war. Then we had the 2008 US financial collapse. Then we had the GST transition. Then we have the COVID pandemic right now. Now, all these economic shocks, we have never dipped down in our economy or the GDP. Now, what is the difference when it was in the past shock and what happened in the current shock? So if you see in the past, the economy was always running. The shops were on. The restaurants were on. The businesses were going on as usual. What has happened with this COVID pandemic is there's a complete stop. There's a complete lockdown. And as they rightly say, lockdown matlab complete knockdown ho gaya hum log sab. So there's a complete stop to the restaurants, to the cinema halls, to the factories, to the agriculture, and to a lot many things around us. So this is quite a different situation. So if you really look at 2020, we are all learning in 2020 not to have goals for this year. We are just learning how to be adaptable and how to be resilient. That is getting back on our feet after this fall. So as soon as we have fallen, we are thinking of ways and techniques, tools and techniques, tricks and techniques that we can have so that we can get back on our tool again, right? So we have a very beautiful two-level challenge in for every individual. One is the professional one and one is the personal one. In the professional space, all of us have had a lot of business loss. From the lockdown to so much, we all have gone through a lot of business loss. This is not something that we really expected or thought it's going to happen, especially when the financial year end comes. A lot of businesses rope in a lot of business or profits at that point in time. Now the demand has subdued considerably because everything, the consumptive behavior of the people itself is changing. There is loss of job, right? So in the professional space, we are grappling up with a lot of things which is really, really critical. Look at personal front. We are always worried about the health factor. There's a constant worry about many things around us. We are not so encouraging with people around us. We are not so wanting to go out and catch the infection. There are senior people in our house. We have young children in our house. So we are all working on developing our immunity. We're looking more from working from home primarily because of this fear. And again, working from home is not something that we are used to. We have had the freedom to go anywhere, anytime, do whatever we want at any spot in time. Again, that is a challenge for us today to work in this four walls that we call so beautifully as a home. Having no face-to-face interactions, because human beings are very highly social animals. We need that social or the face-to-face interactions. If we don't get the face-to-face interaction, we get overwhelmed with emotions. So we have those mental depressions, we have those emotional depressions, किसी को ना मिलने के कारण से. Then there is an anxiety, always an anxiety because of several reasons. And obviously everybody's work style has changed. So in the last 2.5, 3 months, when I'm talking to a lot of people, I find many of them, because we can't go outwards, they have started moving inwards. So they're learning a lot about themselves. They're learning a lot about the people inside the home. Yeah, that's a change as well. So we welcome everything. So the lockdown impact, if you can see on the Indian economy, be it in the space of agriculture, there's a scarcity of labor. There's a low agricultural growth. 60% is employed in this sector in the entire country, which is an alarming situation. Look at automobiles, lowest demand from the rural area. There's a subdued demand from the white collar people. 20 to 25% of decline is already estimated. We don't know how far the decline is going to be crossing. And there's always a low demand for credit. Coming to banking, the third number, more bad loans are going to be coming in. There's going to be less liquidity in the market. The interest rates have been slashed. People are having a lot of confusion about what's going to stay and what's not going to stay, where my money is safe or not. Then we go to real estate. We also see there's a low demand for housing, and obviously it's going to be staying like that for some little time. Companies are asking for extension of credit period. There's low demand of credit from the retail segment too. And finally, the steel sector. These are all India's challenges, right? The steel sector, the auto and the real estate will reduce demand and there will be lower production. So because of auto and real estate going down, obviously there is a reduction in the demand for the steel sector and there's a low production. So just to give you a small little gist of how we have our household consumption has also declined post the corona. So maybe it's in terms of air travel spending, or maybe it's in retail spending or restaurant spending. credit card spending, food delivery spending, public transit spending. You could find a massive dip happening in all these spaces post-COVID, right? So that's just to give you a small little insight about where we are at the moment. And then we just understand how this new normal works for us. Now this, if you see right at the center, we have something called as a change wall. Okay, so first thing, we are looking at not be same ever again. So the world has changed forever. Trust me, it's just not our country, it's the entire world has changed forever. So here on the other side of the wall, you have can't preserve past trends. Now, what is the new rule here or the new normal? It's that adaptation is the only key. So they rightly say, you know, it is not the survival of the strongest or the survival of the fittest. It is the survival of that who can adapt to this new scene or the new climate out here, the new environment, right? Can't stay ignorant because we need to be, we have to be quick. So if you see, there are a lot of business options which have opened up during the COVID, and I'm going to be showing you a very beautiful video which is going to talk about the 10 booming industries which is real good business opportunities for every small medium enterprise. For every small medium enterprise, look at how this video is going to help you understanding what are some of the ways we can work in this space, right? Looking at the employee mindset on this side of the wall, we are talking about now we are forced to think in entrepreneurship. Before we were thinking like an employee, now we will think more into everyone around, because we have been not able to get into a job. We are being forced to think about entrepreneurship. So before we were exploiting nature, and now we got this ego slapped by nature. We are really mindful about the nature, right? So that's the change wall. That was the past, and this is what is the new normal. The world has changed forever, and we are to be ready with that. So quickly, I'll just take you through this next 2 slides, and then we go ahead and see how we can cover this up entirely. So this is how, as I just said, everything around us has changed. Our interactions with the customer, our interaction with our business partners, interaction with the government, the interaction with suppliers, with competitors, everything has changed. There's a big social impact. The globalization, the personal relationship, the work life, the growth, the openness to technology, the consumptive behavior, solidarity, the environment, everything is changed. So from the current normal, we are going to something which is called as quality economy. And if you can see in the quality economy, we are talking about 5 C's. The 5 C is clean, connectivity, community, creativity, and consciousness, right? So we are going back from the current normal to the quality economy. So we have the 5 C's: clean, connectivity, community, creativity, and consciousness, right? So how do we do this? I'm just going to be showing you how this entire stakeholder relationship is going to be defined through employees, through customers, through suppliers, through business partners, through competitors and government. So there's a lot that we need to do. I'm going to be showing you a slide in which we are going to talk about the 5 C's of quality economy. So if you see in the societies, the employee and the consumer behavior will change very dramatically. The market roles shall increasingly be based on trust and shared risk. So now how is the relationship going to be henceforth? Is that before we were more product centric, then we were more customer centric. Now product centric, customer centric, say we are moving to the next thing, and that is relationship centric. So we need to really spend a lot of time in building the right kinds of relationship now in the new era, and for the rest of our lives. So we really need, it's not the product, it's not the customer, it's the relationship that's going to take us to the places that we really need to go in. So that's when you talk about the 5 C's of quality economy. So we're talking about clean, We have a heightened response to public health, the sustainability and environmental solutions as to what are the ways that we can keep the places around us clean, our office spaces clean. We are talking about connectivity, more moving towards digitalization. Just like what happened few years back when demonetization happened, everybody was so used to using cash, and suddenly there was a disruption, and most of us are comfortable today with digital payment mode, the Google Pay or Paytm. We wouldn't have never thought कि हम पैसे mobile पे करेंगे, right? But we have moved there. That was a disruption there for demonetization. That this is another disruption. Let's see how we adapt or become much better than what we are. Community, there's a relationship building at the global and the hyper local level. So that's about the next third C. Fourth C is creativity. We are thinking about how can we be innovative so as to create new business opportunities, to be more sustainable, flexible, and having profitable business solutions. And last but not this least, we have to be conscious. We have to increase our own responsibility to balance the environment around us, taking along all the people along with us. Now, I'm going to be showing you this beautiful video. This is an 8-minute video, and it shows you what are the 10 industries that is booming in the current times or in the times to come. So once you look into the video, please keep one thing in your mind. You may be already in one of the space, or you may not be. If you're not in this space, you can see how you can make your service, or you can have another source of income wherein you can start catering to one of those industries which is going to boom in the new normal, right? So this is a very beautiful video. Do have a look at it. I'm just going to play this for you right away.
Industries that are booming due to coronavirus. Now, there's no doubt coronavirus is affecting many, many, many businesses around the world, and most businesses are suffering. But there are a number of industries that are booming due to the coronavirus. Now, why do you want to be aware of these industries? Perhaps this video will give you some perspectives and some insights on how you need to modify your business model, how you want to pivot, or maybe you want to start a business after this is over, or you want to start a business during the crisis because you see an opportunity. You could do that as well. So here are the 10 industries that are still booming due to the coronavirus. Industry number 1, e-learning. So many people are stuck at home, and a lot of people now they're starting to think about, okay, the jobs that I used to have, they are no longer there. What do I need to do? What new skills, what new knowledge do I need to acquire in order to equip myself, in order to find a job? Because most of those jobs may not be available anymore. Business owners, entrepreneurs, we are also thinking about, okay, what new insights do I need? What help do I need to modify or pivot my business model? I need to do something. So people are seeking learning opportunities, especially learning opportunities from home, that they don't have to go somewhere, they don't have to go to an event necessarily, that they could learn just from their computers. So e-learning is, a lot of students are learning from home. A lot of them are learning just virtually. This will create a new behavior. After this, a lot of students, a lot of people will question, do I actually need to go to school? Will going to school, getting that degree, will that even prepare me for the future? And now the world has changed so dramatically in a short period of time. Industry number 2, medical products. Anything that is related to curing or preventing the coronavirus. We're talking about hand sanitizer, mask, right? Anything at all that could help people to do that. Now, of course, there's still a huge shortage of this in the world, but thinking about this in the future, when this is over, when there's a vaccine, when there's a cure, and everything is back to normal, this will not be the last time we see a virus like this. I hope it is, but we also have to be a realist. So understanding that this might come back and there might be other viruses in the future. So being in the medical supplies business, not only it is a great business to be in, not just to make a profit, but it's a business that could save a lot of people's lives. Industry number 3, delivery services. As now we are stuck at home and the government advised us to stay at home, that we are ordering takeouts, we're ordering delivery, we're buying more things online. Delivery services are huge. Even logistic companies in the right sector could be booming as well. Industry number 4, in home entertainment industry. Of course, we're talking about Netflix. Of course, we're talking about Disney streaming. Of course, we're talking about YouTube. Now, although on YouTube, you can see a lot of creators, content creators, their AdSense revenue is down simply because there are fewer advertisers advertising on the platform. However, more people are tuning in, more people are watching their content. They are now building a base. So it depends on the audience that you are serving, but in home booming as well. Now it is a good time, especially if you are an entertainer, you are a creator. Now entertain. People need entertainment. They need that escape. Keep creating content. Build that customer base. Don't slow down. Grab a phone, grab a camera. Now is the time to connect and serve your audience. Now is the time to really expand that reach. Industry number 5, online gaming. People are bored out of their minds. They want some kind of entertainment. Again, they want some kind of escape. It could be on casinos. People now cannot go to the physical casinos, but they still like to gamble. Or online gaming in terms of you're just playing games online. That is huge as well, and it will get bigger and bigger, especially later on when VR is more popular. This industry will be booming for many, many years. Industry number 6, online dating industry. As now people are more isolated, people are more lonely than ever. We crave that human connection, right? More people will be single. Now, if more people are working from home, there are fewer opportunities to even go to coffee shop and meet somebody. Online dating will be huge. It's already huge. So it doesn't even have to be a dating website, but anything that serves that particular industry will be booming as well. Industry number 7, software, especially software that helps people to connect or work remotely. Skype, you have Slack, you have Zoom, anything that helps other people to connect and communicate better. That kind of software will always be booming. Any software that helps people to start online business, those business will also be booming as well. So don't overlook. Think about how you can serve that particular market, because people's buying behaviors are changing. They are developing new habits. Things won't be the same after the coronavirus is over. Industry number 8, supplement industry. The supplement industry is always big, but now with the coronavirus, people are a little bit more fearful. They want to make sure that they have a strong immune system. They want to take care of the body, want to take care of their own health. So people are taking more vitamins, people are taking more supplements, right? To make sure that they are strong, that they could protect themselves. And now not just they're buying supplements for themselves, but also buying supplements for their family. So the supplement industry is also booming as well. Industry number 9, supermarkets. Now this is very, very obvious as people are stocking, right? Overbuying a lot of food, groceries. Supermarket is absolutely booming. They're getting more sales. In fact, they are running out of stocks. People are buying more than what is needed because out of fear. So supermarket also booming industry. Industry number 10. Now this may not be a very glamorous industry, but that is the cleaning industry. Offices, hospitals, homes. Now people are again a little bit more fear driven. They want to have a cleaner place. They want a sanitized place. So they make sure that they want to hire a high quality group of professionals to help them clean their places. So cleaning industry is also booming. So these are the industries that are booming due to the coronavirus. What we have to understand is this: either you want to be in these industries, or you want to think about how you could serve these industries, or you want to think about how you could change your business model. Because one thing that we do know is that things are never going to be the same. People would buy differently, people would shop differently, people would spend their money differently, their priorities will change. As an entrepreneur, it is your job to see what are some of the problems in the marketplace that you can solve and only you could solve. Don't get too hung up on your existing business model. We all have to pivot and protect and preserve what we have.
Okay, so that was a little lead into how this new business formats or new industries that's going to boom in, especially post the COVID. I'll just share my screen 1 second. So we understood that there is something like a e-learning, there's something like a medical space, there's supplement industry. 1 second, and the screen is just moving on. I just get my screen on and get it proper. Okay. So we just saw in the particular video that how some other industries are booming, like the e-learning, the medical, the supplements, the cleaning, the software, the online dating, the gaming, the in-house delivery, the supermarkets, and so forth and so on. So here is a very important piece here. Now we have new concepts to work on. We have new business models to work on. Or we may just serve to one of these business models because these are going to be the emerging or booming industry. So one way to keep yourself adaptable is to keep looking out for such kinds of information. Where and how can I be creative? The first mover advantage. And that's the reason when we go to the next important thing, it's a very, very important element is adaptability. What is adaptability? It's as Charles Darwin says, you know, the survival of the fittest. It's the survival only happening when you can adapt yourself. Even in the 21st century, as a leader, they always say quality that each one of us need to have is called as adaptability or agility. How flexible are we or how adaptable are we that we can be relevant at all times? Because there are many industries, even you have seen, like a Nokia or like a Canon, they've all moved out. They were really good, great Fortune 500 organizations, but because they did not adapt to the current times, they are no longer there in any of this. So how fast can we adapt to the changing needs? Are we aware about it? Are we able to use it, the first mover advantage? Now we know these are the 10 booming industries. How fast can we adapt ourselves to these 10 industries? That's very, very important to understand. Right. So with that, we come to a very important quality, which is called as resilience. And we all know what is resilience. Resilience is a quality to come back after a setback. How, if I fall down, how am I able to quickly come back on my two? That is what is called as resilience. And that's a mindset. We all have mindsets. We have mindsets because of the way we have been brought up in a family. We have some values and beliefs that we are tied down, bonded to. We believe in them completely. And so we have certain mindset that this is how it works. Sometimes it's very essential to challenge your own mindset because some of your mindset is not helping you anymore. It's not relevant anymore. need to change because the environment around us is changing. So this is like a quick, so we all are having setbacks. It can be a physical setback, or it can be an emotional setback, it can be a mental setback. Like for example, you are going to do rafting in the river, and you get a map, right? And in the map it is saying that after some time you're going to get some rapid waves, and you're going to get some pitfalls, and the waves are not going to be really kind to you. What would you do? What you would do, you would either take there when you start with your rafting somebody who is an expert, or you may have some skilled friends of yours to accompany you, or probably you may take the tools which is essential for you to get past those waves, so you're ready. So important is like, am I ready? Life does not come with a map. Absolutely no map that life comes. There's no map that you shows where there's going to be a problem. So it can throw up umpteen number of problems to you. It could be a problem like losing your loved one. It could be some traumatic event, which could be a life-altering accident or a serious illness. Anything of this is a change. It's a paradigm change. It's a shift for us. It's a mindset change, and life doesn't come with a map. So the very important thing here is all this will bring us a unique thought or a flood of thoughts, strong emotions, uncertainty, and they rightly say we live in a VUCA world where it is highly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous kind of a situation right now. Yet we all people come back. We adapt so well over the time. Some people don't. Many people do. The people who don't, they go through a lot of emotional, mental, and physical turmoil. So resilience is something that we are looking even today in this corona times, especially for small, medium enterprises, because we are going through a shift. We are going through a change. Do I have the mindset to come back to what things were before normal, before the new normal? Probably not, because now I have to change a lot of things in my mind and have to work on it. So some 4 things that they very rightly say is that you can focus on 4 things so that even in this new normal, your business can thrive, not only survive, but thrive. So when I say, it's like you learn to survive first, or it's like first you learn to revive your business. Once you revive your business, learn to survive the business, and then you thrive. That's when you start making profits and more money. And for that reason, they say there are 4 things which is essential, and 4 things may, one of the important thing is that always have a business continuity plan. So it now in times of COVID-19, there or any kinds of disasters that can come. So if you're prepared for a plan B, if certain things don't go right, how, just I said, if I'm doing a river rafting, if a certain wave is coming or a strong wave is coming, how do I keep myself prepared? I may put in an extra jacket. I may have an expert with me. I may have a skilled friend with me. I may have those kinds of objects to get me over that big wave. Similarly, do I have a plan, a continuity plan, even in my business? That's the first thing that you need to be mindful about. Second, to adapt or to be coming back to this new normal, you need to learn the technique of able to work. Now, we're so used to working in a team together all the time, seeing our employees, our team members, our bosses, and everything. Now, this is suddenly different. We don't see any one of them, and still we need to get the work done. So we need to have certain protocols. We need to build trust. We need to build trust with our people. And we also know that work can be done. Even with just a laptop, work can be done. How do we go ahead, give that daily motivation? How do we create that trust? How do we create that communication? How do we create that relationship so that we are able to work even remotely without much obstacles and hassles, without having a mental turmoil nor an emotional outburst or any kinds of trauma that could lead to disaster in the making. Third important thing is communicating regularly. So if you see, there's something called as TMBI, TMBI is like too much of bad information is available everywhere. So that's in the form of rumors. One thing I like in Mulund, when Mihir Kotecha gives us those daily snippets at the end of our 10 o'clock, right? He gives us those nuggets about what happened throughout the day, how the day went, and what are the future plans. So that's a communication where it's not a bad communication, it's a right communication, which helps us keep our mental space clear, feel at peace, because he is working there. We know there's a communication which is coming regularly. So people are naturally fearful in such a situation. And if you communicate as a leader regularly with everyone, they are at peace. The communication is very important because we can't allow TMBI, too much of bad information. So take up the lead, start communicating in the form of videos, pick up the phone and talk, or anything that you can do it remotely, right? And finally, the fourth important thing is that how do you focus on your workplace safety? So now ensuring the safety and the health of the employees and the visitors to the workplace is, of course, the most biggest priority. So it's what is stressful and worrying time for everyone is to set up the support and other employee welfare, which is going to change. So whatever welfare schemes we had so far in place, we need to revisit them, because some of it is going to for the rest of our lives, right? So maybe that you need to have minimize the potential points of transmission, such as shared desk, phones, coffee machines, limit the number of face-to-face meetings, or meet virtually more through videos or audio conferencing apps. Clean the workplace more frequently and have hand sanitizers readily available. Practice social distancing and make sure everyone knows handshaking is off the limit for some time. And that's why I think the Lions Namaste really works here now. So these are challenging times for every business. And now taking the proactive action is like the ones we have identified will help us to keep our businesses stay open even during pandemic. So now this is for the small, medium enterprise. Now, what are some things that is essential for us as an individual? So as an individual, I would just like to leave you with these 10 points. First and foremost, if you want to enhance your resilience mindset, first and foremost, you need to find a purpose, a sense or a purpose for what you want to do with your life. Next important thing is building positive beliefs in your own abilities. Sometimes you keep doubting yourself with your own abilities. It's very essential to keep yourself very positive with your beliefs. Develop a strong social network. And this is a time to actually go out, reach to people, build up that strong social network so that whenever you need it, you know there is somebody who can help you out with that. And that's why we are here today with the Lions Business Forum. This is again a space where we are helping out or reaching out to help out so that we can make more sense as a higher community, a larger community, and to the society in general, right? Important another element is how, if there is a change, how do we embrace it unconditionally? How do we accept it unconditionally, thinking that change is going to be constant? Everything else is temporary. Change is permanent. Everything else is temporary. So embrace change. Be optimistic. There's a hope. There is always light at the end of every tunnel. So the light is very, very near for us now. Work on yourself, nurture yourself, give yourself that time, sprinkle that little magic on yourself also, give that love to yourself also. Though we are there for everyone, sometimes it's very essential to have that love for your own self. Sprinkle that magic and that love for your own self. Develop your problem solving skills. Don't have come with a lot of problems. Think about how can I resolve this? How can I create that new innovation, new invention, or probably a jugaad. Jugaad is amazing in India. Establish goals at a time. Take action. That's the most important thing. Everything else doesn't work if you're not taking action. Last but not the least, be a learner throughout your life. Upskill yourself and keep learning. I would like to leave each one of you in this room with 3 brilliant gentlemen who have made their marks in life and across the globe. And they are classic examples of people who have been coming with a highly adaptable and resilient mindset. Now, these guys used to ask every single day a question to themselves. Now, this is a question that you can ask for yourself too. And these questions have led them to the kind of success that every one of them have achieved in their lifetime. Let's look at Steve Jobs. You know, the kind of question he would ask himself, trust me, every single day. Even when he was bankrupt completely, Apple was completely bankrupt, and still they came back big time only because he could give an answer to himself for this question that he used to ask. If today was the last day of your life, would you be wanting to do what you are doing? Right? It's a very, very reflective, very pertinent, and very, insightful question for our own self. So the entire thing changes around us. If you were going to answer this question every single day, probably the actions that we take, the way we behave with people around us, the way we interact with a lot of our environment, everything changes. Because if you were answering this every day before you go to sleep, if today was the last day of your life, would you be wanting to do what you are doing? Yes or a no? If it's a yes, beautiful, go ahead. If it's a no, what can I change? Look at Richard Branson. We all know him very well. He's Sir Richard Charles Nicholas Branson. He's a British business magnate, and he's an investor, author, and he's founded the Virgin Group in the 1960s. More than 400 companies in various fields. Now, this is a person who is controlling 400 companies, and look at the question that he asked himself. Is he resilient? Is he ready? Is he adaptable? Is he productive? When you're on your deathbed and you have to look back at your life, you have to ask yourself, have I led a good life? This is a question he keeps asking himself every single day. Did I live today? Did I matter today? Did I love today? Did I live today? Did I matter today? Did I love today? If the answer to all of these three questions before you go to sleep is a yes, it means you've had a beautiful day today. So that's with Richard Branson. And we have a very, the guy who is always in the dollar note. We see him on the dollar note, right? Benjamin Franklin, he's on the dollar. His picture is there on the dollars. And he was somebody who had like a n number of things that he has done in 84 years of his life. He is an 18th century person, right? Long back. But he had this amazing thing of being highly productive, highly resilient, highly adaptable. He was a leading writer, a printer, a political philosopher, a politician. He was a postmaster. He was a scientist. He was an inventor. He was a humorist. He was a civic artist. He was a statesman, and he was a diplomat. Wow. He did so many things in just as much 24 hours, as much as we have. So his question every single day when he starts in the morning is, what good shall I do this day? That's the question he asks in the morning. And in the evening, what good have I done today? And he used to go back and journal everything. And that's how he got better every single day, again and again. That was his mindset, being more productive, being more resilient, being more ready. So morning question, what good shall I do this day? And evening question, what good have I done today? So this is an amazing, insightful question. I like to leave every one of you with this question. Ask yourself, do you react or do you respond? If you are reacting, probably it's going to be difficult and negative. If you are able to respond, when you're responding, it's always that you think first and then you respond. वो बोलते हैं ना, हम लोग को बोला जाता है कि पहले सोचो फिर बोलो. हम लोग normally उल्टा करते हैं, पहले बोलते हैं फिर जिंदगी भर सोचते हैं कि क्यों ऐसा बोला. So it's important to understand which state do I want to belong to? Do I want to become somebody who is a responsive person, or do I want to be somebody who is reactive? So last but not the least, thank you so very much for being with me here in this last 1 hour. It's really a privilege to be with each one of you here. I hope this has created some kind of value addition. I like you all to reflect on some of these points. That's what is that one or two things that you can think about doing for yourself henceforth, today onwards, right now onwards. And managing challenge, it's if just like the Japanese wouldn't have wanted that fresh fish, we wouldn't have known that fresh fish comes only if there is a shark in the cage. And what resources should I have so that I can have the shark with me and take up those challenges, be highly resilient, right? So that's with me. We have gone through the entire space of a beautiful story, a beautiful video, and 4P's agenda of the global economy, the Indian economy, the new normal, and how few of the new industries are going to work, and how we can be more resilient and more adaptable for the rest of our lives, and have a big, beautiful, amazing trip or a journey ahead in the rest of our lives. Thank you. That's it from my side. I will quickly toggle to the chat to see if there is any questions.
CG, there are two questions.
Yes.
One is more or less same. How to motivate the team?
Okay, so when you're working remotely, there is something very important, as I said, is learning to communicate regularly with your team members. Go ahead, do a nice little Zoom call, get them engaged. There are a lot of HR activities that keep happening. I've heard sometimes the HR activity can get quite disturbing, but many a times, once in a week, or you could have those virtual antaksharis or tambolas just for fun's sake, and also keep them engaged and interacted, and also ensure that you have more of physical interactions over the video, giving them the right kind of motivation. Give them something to learn new every day. You learn something new today, give them a 5-minute story, keep them motivated, because working remotely for every one of us is quite a difficult task. So if this is happening, I'm sure they are going to be, and of course they are your team members, you know it very well how you can keep them motivated, and they're going to be, you have to give them a lot of assurances that this is how it works. Assurances are very, very essential, right? Yeah.
He says further, that even after taking all necessary precautions for their travel and working environment, how we should motivate.
Sorry, can you just come again with the question, sir?
See, how to motivate a team even after taking all necessary required precautions for their travel and working environment.
Okay, so I understand. When you are working remotely, it becomes quite a challenge. I do understand that. I believe that as many of the companies are doing, and many organizations are also doing this. One is, as I just told, create that trust, and many of them just want to know that their jobs are intact. They're not sure after the COVID is over whether they will have their jobs or not. They don't know what the situation is going to be. Will they have the trust on the leader that no matter what, I will have my job back, I will have my monthly salary coming in? That kind of trust needs to come in. And second important thing is, as I said, the new changes, people have to move from the employee mindset to being a forced entrepreneurship. Now, none of us can just think like an employee, like, those years back. Now we need to think कि मैं नया क्या create कर सकता. So you need to ask even your team members, चलो यार कुछ नया करते हैं, चलो यार ideation करते हैं, चलो क्या innovation करते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि नया तरीका कैसे कर सकते हैं हम लोग का business को बढ़ाने के लिए. Give them a challenge like that. Give them, open it up for them. It's not only you who is taking the decision for improving your business. Trust your team members. Ideas. You will be amazed with what ideas they can come with. this is the way you can engage them, involve them, lead them, trust them, create a lot of good vibes in the group, and give them the daily dose of motivation, whatever motivates your group. I'm sure there's something that is motivating them. So understand that, the pulse of theirs, and get that doing. I'm sure you can do that.
Good answer. Very nice. Good answer. Very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, I think there's no other. I think there's no other questions now.
I hope this session has been adding at least some or two couple of value add for everyone. That's my sincere hope.
Shailesh.
Rajesh ji.
Rajesh.
Rajesh.
I mean, I am online right now.
Yes.
Topic was taken today. It was excellent topic. Building a reset. School for this COVID actually for each and every enterprise. It will be taught. And
Thank you so much.
really covered all the topic. Related example. Putting the shark and other things. Fish refresh. Okay, the jugaad, that is what jugaad. That you got Japan and the jugaad implement in our business into that activity that related to the 5 C's and giving the example of Steve Jobs and Richardson Branson. It was excellent example. Every entrepreneur who wanted to business and all, and that businesses which right now which can be hot. Any person who wants to do some other business, they can always get business, the medical industry and the delivery and other online gaming and. I don't want to think online gaming is better than. Okay. Thanks a lot,
Okay.
PG. Really, it was a nice topic. There is echo actually. It is connecting with my talks. Hello. Can you hear? Can you hear?
There was a certain little crack in your sound, but I guess it's okay now.
But my message was clear.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate
Thanks
for everything. Thank you for having me here. I'm really thankful for everyone to have me here.
We are thankful to you for coming in this platform actually.